Be yourself fervently, passionately, guys. A passionate intensity. I think one of the biggest things that I've never regretted, maybe I felt like a little bit of like a flush come to my face, kind of cringing a little bit, maybe slightly embarrassed. But I've never actually regretted being myself fully. And it's funny because, hello collective, it's Kai. And disclaimer, this is all based on my own experience. I'm not really trying to tell you what to do or what works best for you. I just hope that this video supports you. So, with all due respect, I'm gonna be sharing some shit. I was like, oh my god, my fucking chair, bro. I had to acknowledge, like, okay, how am I holding myself back, right? I've been talking to you guys a lot about this. A lot. I am in my follicular phase and I have probably so much fucking energy. It's literally like, I'm gonna like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck. Be myself fervently, passionately, intensely, allowing myself to honor every single part of the process, to present these parts of me to others. And if they reject it, so be it. How good are we at receptive, oh, fucking damn it. How receptive are we to rejection? Because in reality, that's divine redirection. So if we're so attached to someone and we can't even handle that rejection, then rejection? Bruh. Rejection? Then how receptive are you to being that person that is there for you at every single moment? That safe space, I'm trying to adjust, that safe space so that you can allow yourself to be. Like, if this someone that you're like trying to present some form of information towards, like, let's say they don't know how you feel, right? And then you tell them how you feel and they're like, I'm so sorry, like, I don't have the space for this, like, I don't, like, you know? It's like, are we going to reject ourselves? Are we going to walk away from ourselves as well? That's the question that comes to hand. Because in reality, I realized in terms of like my own pain when it comes to relationships, it's being okay with rejection. It's being okay with no's. It's being okay and accepting that as an answer, which is something that I've grown into because of the fact that as a child, when I said no, it didn't mean no. It meant try harder. It meant do it despite that. And I don't care about that. When in reality, we do care. That's about consent here. That's about consent. So being yourself passionately, allowing yourself to present yourself fully so that people can also perceive you to the best of their own senses. Their own perception of you is just based on their senses. So once again, that can also be very fucking skewed. Let's say I dress up and I'm like lavishly adorned with jewels and my chest is out and I'm feeling fucking flirtatious and like feminine. That will naturally attract the masculine energies, because if they come up to me and I don't have that ability to say no to them, I'm sure a lot of females can feel this, because it's like we don't actually want to hurt the guy's feelings. But in reality, we still have to stand up for ourselves and be like, hey, like, I appreciate it, but I'm not interested. Despite them also coming back when I say no. That is the one thing that has always like surprised me. I'm like, wow, you've got some fucking tenacity, because I swear to God, I've already said no to you 3 times and you're not taking my fucking no for an answer. So in other words, you're not even listening to the words that I'm saying. You're just so enamored by my physical entity, my physical incarnate, that it doesn't even matter. And then at the same time, it's like, oh, that's valid as fuck, because I've experienced being so enamored by people that it's like, it's not even like taking no for an answer. It's more of like, I can't even bring myself forward to this person because I'm so self-conscious. That's just an example, okay? And yes, I have experienced that time and time again, where I literally say no and this person just doesn't take my no for an answer. And it's so ironic that I even fucking bring that up, because if I'm not even okay with no's or the unknown, this is where it gets good. Because the aspect of accepting myself fully, every single part, the dark, the light, the shadow, this, You know, that's actually funny because we say the light and then the shadow, but we also say the light and the dark. And it's always the same, coming back to love, coming back to the source, the core of you, where you are constantly expanding and evolving through love, not through fear. Yes, fear can challenge you, but it's with courage. You have stepped forward with courage when you're afraid, and you still do the damn thing. You still speak up for yourself. You still stand in your power. You still allow your process to unfold. You don't rush your own pace. It is discernment on how much you're actually capable of giving to others. Not just what you want, but what you need. Because what you want isn't always what you need. And what you need isn't always what you want. It's interesting because I'm still navigating these things where I'm like, God, I'm like accepting myself in this aspect of like, I get nervous. God damn it. I get nervous. And I'm like, you know what? Where the fuck is this coming from? Because literally, these people have never done anything. They've never actually done anything. In other words, I'm just being triggered. And that's the motherfucking tea, because I swear to God, it's like on the healing journey, you think you've healed so much, and then there's other stuff that comes to light, and it's like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. That's actually what's being addressed right now? Oh, cool. And I was pulling some cards for myself. I always do this before I do a collective reading, just to clear out my own energy so I can channel more cohesively and intentionally for the collective. But it's like, that's actually why I do these videos too, because it's like, I'm a fucking person. I'm literally a fucking living being on this physical dimension. And I was journaling today and I was like, thank you, dimensional experience, because I'm a part of the realities, the multiverse realities that are happening all simultaneously, in which I can tap into any form of manifestation that I actually want to tap into. So how can I allow myself to unfurl fervently? And it comes through the creative mindset so that I can present those. I can cohesively be those things. Like, it's however the fuck it comes in the forms in which you imagine it to be. Even if that's received in a different light. I think that's the craziest thing. It's like, I thought, I have a specific example. I was in this group environment and I thought that my actions, my intentions were pure. And I mean this in a way where I was moving through that self-empowering way, but in reality, I wasn't empowering myself. So in other words, I was lying. I was deceiving me. And it had nothing to do with these people's responses, reactions towards me, the things that they would say about me. It was how I was viewing myself, what I was okay with, what I was accepting into my own space, my own time-space continuum, my own reality. And it was like, okay, let's be so fucking for real here. There's a big importance in the spiritualists and the spiritual community is that, yes, it is also tapping into your psyche, into the multi-dimensional experience. It's also to be practical. You know why? Because there is so much that is abundantly present. If we don't bring our own awareness to it, then it will literally pass you by. And I don't mean this in a way where it's like controlling it or like, oh, I'm never going to get it again. No, there's no such thing as never or always. I still say it sometimes, but you catch my drift, hopefully. And it's like understanding that if I'm going to take accountability and responsibility for these things, then how are my choices going to change? How am I going to allow myself to present my own core to this environment? And it's like, I really am building my own strength. And being strong doesn't mean that you don't accept your weaknesses. It actually means that you embrace your weaknesses. Courage is when you move forward despite the fear being present. That, to me, is what strength is now. It's not what it used to be, where strong meant I will overpower you, I will control you, I will suffocate you. and you will have absolutely no fucking control of your situation. When in reality, we have choice. That is what allows us to get this conceptualized idea of control. We choose things all the time in our lives, in our daily lives. So that's why I protect my space. I have to be discerning, even when it's painful. Even when my ego doesn't want to let go. To accept those aspects of my experience to be valid. So fervently, passionately, intensely, to present myself to the people. Mars is currently in Leo. I'm a Leo rising, Leo ascendant. Also, there's a new moon coming up on the 27th in Taurus, which is my sister sign of Scorpio. But it's also my south node. And it's like, I genuinely, I don't need to explain myself, but I want to. And then sometimes I do need to explain myself because they are lacking information. To be misinformed versus lack of information because I'm not sharing myself. I learned that going through solitude for 2 whole fucking years and then going back into the world, but through the constructs of professionalism and like day-to-day stuff like that. And then also reconnecting with people, still being discerning, but learning through the process, allowing myself grace, forgiving the past, healing, which is accepting parts of myself that I wasn't willing to accept. So therefore the shadow aspects, the things that I don't like about me, the things that I don't accept about me. So releasing those things, allowing the death to happen, and then rebirthing myself so that I can reclaim my power. I can place myself in presences that welcome me, and then still being discerning. That is literally why I say that we are in the fucking matrix. It is this cycle. We can renew ourselves. It's an upward fucking spiral, my guys. It is an upward fucking spiral. But if we don't have that perspective available to us, where we are actually looking down on the spiral, and therefore it is seemingly going downwards. Seemingly. Present yourself fervently. Fervently, passionately, intensely, as you are, who you are, whatever the fuck that means to you. It is no one else's place what that looks like, acts like, talks like, stands like. You're the person who gets to present that. You're the presentation of that. You're also the person who gets to delve deeper into you and deeply understand yourself and where you're coming from, where this pain is stemming from, where this fear was cultivated. Whenever you perpetuate into your own existence, allow yourself to be renewed by your literal fucking existence. That is why I say thank you for being you. That is exactly why. Because you literally, I might say my own shit, but truly, it's just my own day-to-day life. Sonder. We're all living our own reality simultaneously. So to not honor who you are at your core, yes, we can also admire people, respect them for their traits. But when we see something beautiful in another person, that is because we are literally witnessing the beauty in ourselves in another person. Namaste. I witness the light in me, so therefore I respect and witness the light in you. I am so fucking passionate about this right now, and I woke up so freaking early, and I literally am like, this follicular phase is like when the chemicals in the body of the feminine entity are released in a manner where it's like, I'm pretty sure it's testosterone and estrogen. Please correct me if I'm wrong and you know, but I'm not even gonna bother to ask ChatGPT for this because the fact that I've read it so many times and I haven't memorized it, it just shows me that it's just not going to be retained. I'm just trusting my own process. A good example is the feminine entity versus the masculine entity. The chemicals that are being released in the cycles of the male, and I say male, but I mean truly the masculine entity, identifying with the masculine entity as well. That also does affect us subliminally, but it's like, that's a 24-hour cycle. That is completely different than the feminine entity that goes through a 30-day cycle. 30 fucking days, bro. Like, this is why when someone, for example, there is this still very, like, deeply misunderstood aspect of the interaction and communion between the male, the masculine, and the feminine. You know why, though? It's because we are literally lacking information. It is not because, oh, they should know better. It's like, no, they don't fucking know better because they're literally fucking a guy. They're literally a guy. It's like, how the fuck am I supposed to ask them to understand? They don't go through a fucking menstrual phase. It's like, what? And so that's why I feel like, especially being spectrosexual, which is when being spectrosexual means like you're attracted to anyone on the spectrum of being queer, but not exclusively just one identification or sexuality or gender. So in other words, if I'm attracted to someone who's gay, that's not how it fucking works. They're gay. That is also another thing. And then at the same time, it doesn't mean that I am very, like, it's the same thing with being bi. It's not 50-50, okay? That's why, like, discovering this terminology to actually describe my own sexuality was such a big fucking part of my process. Because I still haven't met someone else in the world. Oh, please do tell me if you are spectrosexual as well, because holy fuck. It'd be nice to talk to someone else about this. But I'm just sharing. This is my own experience, and that is what I'm doing. I'm literally sharing this information with you guys. And if it supports you, that's all I could fucking pray and hope for. To empower you to be yourself fervently. Because you're literally only you. You've never been done or seen before. And that is why, like, yes, when people admire me, I respect that. I really do. But it's like, I really hope that they take that energy and they embody that in their own fucking ways. Because then that literally gets exponentially expanded and evolved through you. It's like you are literally attuning to that energy, and now you're cultivating and creating it from your own core. So you're actively co-creating not only with the universe, but as a fellow universe. That is lit. That is fucking lit. And that's what I mean by owning your power. That's what I mean by reclaiming your power. Because even when we see something that we feel like we don't have in our own selves, that is because we do not allow ourselves to accept that part of us. That is literally what it is. Trust me when I tell you, perception, everything. Because if we don't allow ourselves to perceive things in a different way, then how the fuck are we supposed to be open to that perspective, that experience? Even if we don't understand, we don't need to understand. We have empathy. We have an ability to tap into empathy. We can build more empathy, not sympathy. Because I'm not going to pity another person just because they're going through a really fucking shitty ass hard time. I'm going to believe in them, but I'm also going to provide space. You know why? Because I might not know or understand what they're going through, but they deserve the presence and knowing that I'm there to support them no matter what they're going through. And I think it's one of those same things where it's like acknowledging that I deserve that too. So if that's not being provided, if I don't feel that way, even if they're telling me, it's the same thing where I had to learn that just because someone says they love me doesn't mean they love me right. And that is so key. You know why? Because I used to get hit and beat as a child, and then they would tell me, oh, you know I love you, right? So I literally would justify their actions and be like, oh, but they love me. That's fucking bullshit, bro. That's fucking bullshit. I refuse to accept that anymore. Where violence is equated with the amount of love that someone has for me. No, it should never get violent, honestly. And I say never because I'm simply not accepting that into my own reality, period. Period. So if you decide to bring violence into my own presence, I will genuinely make a big ass decision to cut you fucking out. And it might not be forever. It's just for an extended period of time. But time is a fucking construct. I'm going to allow my process to unfold. I'm going to allow my own progress to happen. And if I'm not drawn to this person anymore, then so be it. Then so be it. And that's why allowing myself to accept me for who I am standing in my power, allowing my presence to literally empower other people, even if I don't feel empowered about myself. It's crazy how that fucking works. That is, once again, perception, perspective. And I really wanted to share this with you guys. I'm still working on the whole thing that I was telling you guys for the past few days. Where I'm like, should I tell them? And I'm like, yeah, no, I will. But once again, allowing myself presence, allowing my process to happen, still respecting my space, and my own progress, process, proceedings. Because if I presently can't bring that awareness where I can respect another person's space, then how am I truly respecting my own space? And especially as someone who used to people please a lot, because I was literally taught that, and that is such a prevalent thing in the Korean culture, and I'm sure for a lot of the Asian cultures in general. I may not know, but that may be the case. And it's like, I genuinely am calling back my power, which is my presence and my attention. Enjoying myself, enjoying my own environment that I've created and cultivated. Caring for myself compassionately. And accepting all the light aspects and all the dark aspects. But it's interesting because it's also like, you know how like there's this very big connotation that like the sexual aspects of things are like what's the word for that? What the fuck? I guess like maybe like viewed as like improper, but that's not the fucking word that I'm looking for. I literally can't think of it. But it's like owning myself as that being, as the sexual being. I recently deleted my whole OnlyFans account. And it's because I realized like, I am ready. I'm ready to interact with someone in that manner. And it's been years. It's been years. And I actually started that account because I was on bed rest from breaking 3 bones in my body. And I wanted to feel myself. And I mean that in a way where it's like, I lost like 30 pounds. So I looked so fucking undernourished. It was absolutely insane. My whole left side atrophied. And it's like, of course, the woman wants to feel sexy. The woman and the man wants to be and feel appreciated. Not only on the physical dimensional experience level, but the emotional level, the intellectual level. And it's like, in other words, the spiritual level. And I realized that I've brought myself to this place where I don't feel like I need to do anything to prove something. I'm just going to be this own person. And I woke up really early today. I'm probably going to fucking need a nap. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I really hope this helped. I don't even know. Anyways, thank you so much for allowing me your presence in your space. It is a pleasure and a privilege, truly. Thank you for being you, seriously. And thank you for being alive, truly. I'm sending you guys so much love and support on your own spiritual journey. Bye, collective.